European Union is strongly supporting the ambitious development objective of Rwanda, and our support has been fully aligned with Rwandan strategies and vision. You know, the National Strategy for Transformation, the Drivers of Growth report have been really the inspiring kind of and setting a little bit the agenda for the EU. We've been developing a very strong, I would say, partnership with all stakeholders at governmental and non-governmental level in order to identify areas where the European Union support can make a difference, and again within the framework and in a coherent way with the national strategy for transformation. So over the last years, and namely in the period 2014-2020, we have developed a very important program across different thematic priorities, namely agriculture, infrastructure and energy, and governance. We can be extremely proud of the achievements. I mean, I do not always refer to the size. Of course, the size of our support it's important, is the tool, but I think I would rather focus on the impact and the added value that the European Union support made to the development progress of the country and the life of Rwandans. And agriculture is very simple. We are strongly, I mean, agriculture is still and remain a backbone of the economy in the country, and we are supporting the transformation of the agriculture sector, the creation of value chains, the support to the farmers, extensive extension services, and you know, all what can facilitate even the development of value chains. We have developed and supported the feeder roads program, you know, more than 600 kilometers of rural, you know, to ensure the connectivity within the rural areas, access to the market. So we're extremely proud of the achievements. Also supporting an export-oriented agriculture. Rwanda is now really on the market, let's say, map for a number of products beyond even the traditional and excellent coffee and tea production. The country is also now, let's say, venturing into new high-value crops, and this is becoming extremely important. We're also supporting the what is called the post-harvest marketing, but also the post-harvest loss reduction to support the creation of cold rooms and very concrete and practical support to the farmers that made a difference. Energy and infrastructure, the same. I mean, the rehabilitation of Kagitumba, Kayonza, Rusumo Road in partnership with our Japanese and partners and the African Development Bank. It's an infrastructure that can make a difference also into the regional, let's say, connections within this north-south corridor. You name a lot of works and infrastructures, including in the energy sector, the grid loss reduction, which is a very visible. I'm told, you know, only a few years ago, there was a serious, let's say, the instability in the network, and now these days, you know, especially in Kigali, we don't witness any issue when it comes to the electricity grid. And this is also thanks to the support from the European Union. In the governance area, we did a lot in partnership with government and non-governmental organizations, with partnering with the Office of the Ombudsman in particular on their fight against corruption mandate. We're working with the Parliament, we're working with the Ministry of Justice, in particular in support of the Abunzi court, so the proximity justice, which is becoming extremely important. And we have developed very good partnership with these entities. The role of civil society also is quite important. Development cannot happen in isolation. I always say that it's very important to bring together different actors and to maximize their respective roles, their abilities. Again, in the field of agriculture is a very interesting case where we created a platform for discussions between farmers' organizations and the governmental let's say, actors in order to define agendas, discuss issues and find solutions. So I think it's very important to generate that level of confidence and offering a platform for discussion. Now, as we move forward, we're entering into a new cycle in our cooperation, and as a result of a very inclusive consultation process, we developed a very ambitious agenda, and once again, something that we are convinced will make a difference, fully aligned once again with the development vision of the country, and very much aligned within the development partners group in a very coordinated fashion, and very much into this new Team Europe spirit, meaning that we, as European Union, we're trying to bring together and maximize the impact of our support through coordinated actions with our member states. So in the new areas, we are, of course, building on what we did in the past, in particular in the field of agriculture, where we will remain quite an important actor of the government in the development and in the transformation of agriculture. One of the flagship projects that I can announce is the building of the Kigali wholesale market, which is likely to become a center of gravity for the agri-production and trading of the products in the country and beyond. But we will also venture into new areas. I mean, as Rwanda is developing a very good business environment, branding Rwanda as a business and investment destination, but there was an immediate, let's say, acknowledgement about the levels of skills. So, and the government is taking this extremely seriously. And they have highlighted the importance of entering into this kind of partnership on skills development and education. And the European Union will not be an exception. And we decided to devote some resources to education and skill development. And this will allow, of course, it's a medium long-term objective to align, let's say, the ambitions, but also the realities in the country with the skills and local skills. I mean, I find it, an opportunity, in particular when it comes to job creations, to the development of the youth, to provide them with the appropriate skills and skills which are aligned to the market. So the first, let's say, objective was to identify the skills which are, let's say, needed on the market. The tourism industry is a good example. And more recently, the biotech area, against this ambition of the country to become a vaccine and pharmaceutical manufacturing hub. Of course, there is need for new skills. And this is something that is immediately becoming a reality with a number of initiatives and programs in support of skills development in this specific sector. Then we will work on urbanization, trying to address some critical areas when it comes to urbanizations, but with a very much green economy kind of overarching ambition. And of course, building again on the very strong policy in the country when it comes to empowerment of women, so the gender dimension very high on our agenda. And we will, again, continue to support the government and the people of Rwanda in this amazing development journey. Well, the COVID crisis is, it's a global crisis, so that knows no boundaries. And beyond, of course, the impact on the health impact has also shown some kind of fragility in the supply chain. And we strongly appreciated that Rwanda, among other few countries, they decided to not only just sit and wait, but also to react and take initiatives in order to address these fragilities. And the European Union immediately expressed strong support for this ambition of Rwanda to become a vaccine manufacturing hub. It's not been an easy journey. You can hardly, overnight establish, a kind of, hub of this kind. But we have appreciated the strong determination of the leadership that was able not only to generate confidence, when it comes to the institutions, but also in relation to private sector. So as you can imagine, a number of companies have been scouting around in the continent, but BioNTech, and I'm positive there will be other companies that will also follow. They decided to invest in Rwanda. And once again, because of this strong determination, because of the conducive business environment in the country, and the ability again of the country to adapt to a new situation. So the European Union has been a strong supporter of this agenda. And on our side, we have been supporting Rwanda to create the regulatory framework which is required in order for companies like BioNTech to lend and to start production. So we've been partnering with the Rwanda Food and Drug Authority, Ministry of Health, RBC, all different stakeholders, but also now with universities in order to respond to the skills demand. So we've been trying to accompany this process. We are not only satisfied, we are really more than satisfied about the pace also of the implementation. As you know, we already had the groundbreaking event for the BioNTech plant, and I'm sure even before the end of this year there will be concrete deliverables. So this is really amazing, and this will also show the way forward in these sectors, but also in other sectors. So to show this can-do spirit and show that when there is a political will, you can generate the appropriate level of also of partnership that can allow a country like Rwanda from scratch to become one of the the leaders in these markets. The migration is another global challenge, and we can hardly address migration issues in isolation. So I think I welcome a multilateral approach on migration and a comprehensive approach that takes into account the different dimension of this problem. There are the drivers for migration, economic reasons, political reasons, so the refugees status. So there are different areas and different kind of responses. But again, we can hardly address this issue, let's say, as a country or as a region. But what is needed is a joint approach. And in this respect, we have strongly appreciated and supported the government of Rwanda as they announced already back in 2017 the intention to play a role. And that's at that time where there were media reports concerning people stuck in Libya in detention centers, mainly coming from the Horn of Africa, so African migrants trying to cross the Mediterranean. They were then detained in Libya. And that situation triggered this proposal from Rwanda that the European Union immediately supported to create a transit mechanism. So an emergency transit mechanism, which is located in Gashora, which is hosting people coming from different countries in the Horn, namely Sudan, South Sudan, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia. These are the main countries of origin of these people. And this has allowed these people to be left out of these very difficult situations, even violations of rights, women's, raped. So the situation was extremely difficult. So Rwanda said, we can hardly wait for, Europe, the US, Canada, Australia, you name it, to act. We have to take responsibilities. And this is what makes a difference. We should take collective responsibilities. And that's what Rwanda did, offering this solution. So we are supporting that mechanism, and that has allowed already hundreds of people to be left out from Libya and to be in Rwanda before being relocated to other countries, following all the process, which is required, the status determination, etc. This being said, we also observe now a number of new initiatives. Of course, we don't comment, agreements among third countries. These agreements have been questioned by a number of people in terms of their coherence with existing legal international obligations. But nothing prevents the search for new solutions. And for sure, I think this solution, of course, needs to be framed within the existing legal framework, international law legal framework. But is also what I perceive personally as a genuine intention of Rwanda and its leadership to contribute to this global problem. So we have to approach this issue with a very open mind, but again, also within a very, let's say, clear legal framework when it comes to the respect of international law. And that's also allows me also to highlight Rwanda has been and remain a very strong, reliable, and proactive multilateral actor. And so we, as European Union, we look at Rwanda, of course, as our bilateral partner, but also within the regional, continental, and multilateral dimension. So Rwanda is, for us, as European Union, a partner that goes beyond, let's say, the bilateral relation. Rwanda is a country that, you know, can be a very important player in multilateral area, always extremely active. You take the, I don't know, the environment, the new proposed treaty on plastic ban. I mean, Rwanda has been in the lead of a number of extremely critical and relevant multilateral discussions. Well, as I mentioned before, we look at Rwanda as not only a bilateral partner, but also as a key player in the regional and continental context, and as a key actor and a proactive actor into promoting regional and continental integration. So Rwanda's vision is very much based on you know, regional integration, becoming a hub, you know, you name it, the logistic, the transport sector, the trading system, services, but also manufacturing. We mentioned the vaccine production that will, of course, cater for you know, broader, let's say, than Rwanda. So it's really the vocation of these projects is really to have a regional and continental, let's say, approach. In this context, what we perceive is a strategic interest for Rwanda to a peaceful, let's say, especially the immediate neighborhood. So if you look at the potential of a positive, you know, relation with the neighbors, including DRC, it's huge. In terms of access to markets, you know, you take only the two big cities, Goma and Bukavu, gives market opportunities which are extremely important for Rwanda production. So I think it's extremely important to sustain this peaceful solution. Of course, we appreciate some regional kind of platforms, the Nairobi and the Luanda processes, and we follow, of course, with great interest these developments. And I mean, I'm extremely optimistic, to be honest. I think that once again, the goodwill will prevail, and the people also on the ground, they will realize that it's in their own interest to have a peaceful neighborhood. So even on the DRC side, I hope that the same people that we are seeing, you know, demonstrating and some kind of also looting even UN premises, they will realize that it's not at all in their interest and in the interest of the future generation to fuel these conflicts. On the contrary, what they should aim at is, you know, integration, and because from integration they all will is a win-win solution.
Do you believe one of the neighbors are behind these security issues in DRC?
No. I mean, I can hardly enter into more, let's say. But again, what I observe here and what I feel is a genuine and again strategic interest for Rwanda into, you know, a peaceful cohabitation in the region. Of course, every country should take its own responsibility into managing even the population, its army, its, you know, and so generate also a positive. Let's say, message in order to not to avoid escalation. So I think there is a collective responsibility in different capitals. And that's, again, we look with strong interest and hope these efforts also at regional and sub-regional level in order to bring peace in the region. Well, once again, as I leave Rwanda in few days, you know, it's first and foremost an opportunity once again to thank Rwandans in particular. If you ask me what you will miss, I will miss Rwandans. I found here a very good environment at all levels. I mean, the quality of the partnership at institutional, at personal level has been special. And these feelings are shared by my whole family. We all enjoyed our stay in Rwanda. We strongly appreciated this, what I will miss, and rather than miss, what I will bring with me, you know, as a takeaway, is this strong sense of purpose. I mean, I think that I see in Rwanda is not only a vision, you know, which is there, you know, which is very good, but I think that the same vision is embraced by the people. And I think Rwandans realize that they all have a responsibility. I mean, individuals then generate the critical mass that makes the difference. So I'm particularly impressed by this sense of purpose, the sense of responsibility and participation. The Umuganda is something which I think it's one element of that equation. I think it's very important to generate that sense of responsibility, and in particular in the youth. And so in Rwanda, I witness also this very strong, let's say, vibrant youth environment. Youth are not only the future, they are the present of this country. And also, I mean, I also always say, and it's something which is not very much in the headlines, Rwanda is one of the very few countries who is not producing mass migration. We spoke about migration. You will hardly find a Rwandan trying to cross the Mediterranean. On the contrary, Rwanda is experiencing a brain gain, meaning a number of young Rwandans raised, trained abroad are coming back. They want to be part, take pride and be part, and of course seize any opportunity in order to contribute to the development of this country. And this is something which I can tell you, it's unique. And I think you should, as Rwandans, you should be proud of this spirit, this can-do spirit that can make the difference. Of course, it takes time, it requires a lot of patience, but I think the conditions are there for Rwanda. I mean, I'm very optimistic about Rwanda. And when you ask me what you will miss, my recipe is that I will not miss, it is our intention to come back as soon and as frequently as possible, to remain really linked to this country that we call home, and we will continue to call home. My only regret is that I could not learn Kinyarwanda, but that can happen, of course, in the future. But I very much like a quote that I will just use as my final word, that we all smile in the same language. So I will leave you with a smile. Well, I can tell you that everything needs to be put in the right context. So I think that here we are witnessing a process, and the process which is going in the right direction. I mentioned this sense of participation, which is what then produces. I mean, all these rights and whatever cannot be imposed. Of course, should be homegrown, tailored and adapted to the situation of the country. And I see in Rwanda positive developments. You know, I see a lot of youth organizations. I see a lot of, you know, the role of the media, which is becoming, you know, more and more a tool for development even. I see also development of the creative industry, and, you know, the creative industry brings, in addition to entertainment, brings also critical thinking, brings, you know, the freedom of the expression of the artist that is part of this broader picture. So I think that this discussion about the governance, it's a very broad one, and of course should also take into account where the country is coming from, the fragilities of the country, let's say the ongoing reconciliation following the 94 genocide against the Tutsi. So I think that we can hardly lose sight of this, the complexity of this reality. But again, we perceive a very positive trend. I mean, we see a lot of organizations which are more and more active. We see, but of course, some observers, they have different opinions from far away. I can tell you that whenever I witness some critics from outside, that as soon as they have the opportunity to come talk to the people and see the realities, they start, I would not say changing their mind, but starting having a different approach to Rwanda. So what if I would recommend something is to promote as much as possible these exchanges, the dialogue, to share and to explain. And that's where I think Rwanda has a lot to gain into this very open dialogue. I witnessed, delegations from the European Parliament coming here. As you might know, European Parliament has been critical. You referred to the case of Paul Rusesabagina. But then once in the country, they had the opportunity to engage with a number of people, and they took a different perspective. Of course, they remain extremely, they keep on following these in other cases. But once again, framing them within, the right context. So that's my opinion, and I have a lot of positive. I witness a very positive trend. The role of the National Council for Human Rights, National Commission, a number of non-state actors and NGOs. It's a global process, and when we talked about rights, we should of course talk also about the broader human rights, including economic and social rights, access to health, access to education, and I think Rwanda, women and gender empowerment, and I think there are a lot of areas where Rwanda can be considered, I would say, an interesting model for other countries even. So the approach to the climate change, all these very green-oriented policies are part, in my opinion, of the same equation. Well, if I have to think about, I witness a lot of, I would say, historical moments. I like to remind, I witnessed the signature of the treaty that created the African Free Trade Area. I was there in the room at the convention center. I was there at the groundbreaking event for the BioNTech, which in my opinion is another historic moment for the country and for the continent. And I leave behind a baby gorilla. So that's also a very nice moment that I had the opportunity and the privilege to name a baby gorilla in the framework of a Kwita Izina ceremony. Baby Iratuja is his name, and I hope I will have the opportunity to visit him in the future. But again, I witness a lot of positive developments, and again, our support to the ETM, our support to the reconciliation process, in Bugesera, and now we are scaling in the whole country. Our support to farmers organizations, to the people, let's say. I would say that my main, interest was the people of Rwanda. And that's our main objective, to impact on the life of the people. And also, I think, in particular, I had an open door for the youth. In my office, I received a number of youth organizations, and I could appreciate their dedication, their determination, their willingness to, again, be actors in this development process, not just to be the subject or the beneficiary of this process. They want to take responsibilities, and that's, I think, the real big achievement, is to generate this enthusiasm and this sense of purpose in the youth. That is not easy. And that's where also I think the creative industry can play a role. I think art and culture can be not only, let's say, a sector for entertainment, but also a tool for development, can generate an economy around the sector, but also to generate critical thinking, to generate ideas, and to circulate ideas. I think the art and culture is a fantastic tool for development. So I hope that not only the European Union, we are strongly supporting the creative industry in the country, but I hope that this will become, let's say, a shared priority. Once again, aware as we are of the potential role of this sector in the broader development equation in the country. There is a lot of talent in Rwanda, you name it, from the fashion industry to the music and the art. There is a lot of talent that, of course, needs to be encouraged, and in order for them to find the appropriate, avenues and platforms in order to promote their skills. No, I mean, of course, the COVID crisis had an impact in my ability to visit. I'm not an ambassador that stays in his office on the desk. I'm more, let's say, linked to the field. And of course, I suffered because of this isolation during COVID times. So it was my intention, and I had started since my arrival to really visit a lot the communities, visit our projects on the field, engage with the people, also in order to identify, issues that we can address. So that was I regret it was not possible almost for more than 2 years to circulate and to visit projects. It was very limited, our ability to visit our partners on the ground. Of course, we fill the gap with some IT tools, but is not the same. So I really like the personal contact, and I resumed as soon as I was possible, and as soon as the guidelines, because we aligned our 100% our response to COVID, even in terms of the opening and the physical presence in this office with the local government guidelines. So as soon as the guidelines allowed us, we started again with some field visits and engaging with our partners, and that's mainly my only regret. I mean, to have more contacts with the people on the ground, in order also not only to identify issues, etc., but also to appreciate the impact that EU provided to the people. Only a few weeks ago, just to give you an example, I was here with a Director General from Brussels, and we visited one of our value chains, agricultural value chains project. You go there, you talk to the farmers, and you realize that thanks to our support, in a little bit more than 1 year in this case, they increased their income by 7 times. And this was the result of training, introduction of new high-value crops, and provision of a small cold room that would reduce the post-harvest loss, which is a serious problem, especially in remote areas. So if you take a lot of, it's very rewarding. In Rwanda, I must say that thanks to this engagement, but also thanks to let's say, the political track, the quality of our partnership with Rwanda, the quality of the conversation, even at political level, was extremely rewarding for me personally as a representative of the European Union. And I think it was a privilege to serve in this country. And again, because we find in this country the very conducive environment at all levels. And so this, for an ambassador, of course, it's an extremely important element. I mean, it's a very responsive, serious approach from our interlocutors, and that's, of course, it's an asset for this country. And I'm sure that my departure is a personal, of course, pain, but of course the European Union will continue to be extremely active, and I'm positive my successor will find and even increase the quality of this partnership and find the same level of and the quality of the interaction. I think it's very important to appreciate the efforts of this country also to, let's say, generate a positive narrative. Rwanda, for historical reasons, was suffering from, I would say, negative perceptions. And I think in order to develop the attractiveness of the country, you name it, for investments, for tourism, etc., you need to generate a positive narrative. So I strongly appreciate the efforts of this branding of Rwanda, the Visit Rwanda campaign, the Made in Rwanda, the agreements with some football club. I think they are all positive tools to promote and generate interest about Rwanda. I would strongly recommend also to have a wider approach. This is very private, very personal. I don't know whether it's to explore partnership with other football clubs, including in my own country. But I think that's a fantastic tool to generate interest about Rwanda. And the European Union is strongly supporting this. We are entering into a partnership with the Rwanda Development Board in order to support the Visit Rwanda, to provide them with some additional capacity to promote this hashtag Visit Rwanda. We supported a number of initiatives. That's where also I think art, culture, and sport can make a difference. We've been supporting this year. We were kind of supporting the Tour of Rwanda, which is another fantastic, I think, tool to promote the country.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.